Good morning. Okay, so for this Friday tip, I'm going to give you the insider view of how I manage to read as much as I do. So I never really liked reading until high school, and then it was just kind of for pleasure. And then once I became a mom, it was like, oh my goodness. I always had a book I was reading, maybe several books, but I would literally read 2 pages as I fell asleep every night. And 2 pages, when you have the energy as a mom every once in a while, does not many completed books make. So I want to kind of let you know, now I am reading so much, I've already lost count of how many books I've completed this year, and it's just May. And I don't say that to be like, ooh, I'm such a reader, because I'm a very slow reader, actually, and it takes me forever, so reading can be a daunting task. But I'm constantly hearing about all these books that, ooh, I want to read that, and I want to read this, and here's what I do, here's the practice I've put into play, and it has really made a massive difference. I believe in reading for leaders. I believe in reading just to expand your horizons and make you a more well-rounded person, but also just to give you drive and motivation and inspiration. There's so much great stuff out there, from fiction to spiritual growth to personal development, whatever it is. History, biographies, I love it all, and there's so many good ways to get that in. So here's my tip. I read this book, The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson, a couple years ago. And I can't remember if what I do actually came from this book or if I heard it somewhere else, but this is what really started me on the path. This is a great quick read. And in this book, he talks about mastering the mundane and just those little simple disciplines, little tweaks we can make each day, little bit, that eventually will cause success and cause great things to happen. So if you think about chopping down a tree, if you chop one chop every day, eventually the tree's going to fall, even if it's just a little bit each day. But if you wait until you have time to chop down the whole tree, you may never do it. So that's kind of where I always found myself, never really having the time to sit down and do a lot, so just always putting it off. But this book helped me realize how the slight edge, those little things, can make a massive difference, and you can accomplish so much more. So here's what I do. I'll put a link to this in the comments. So right now I have a book I'm about to start. This one is called An Altar in the World. I haven't read it yet, but I've heard great things, so I'm really looking forward to digging into it. So I'll put a link to this also. Just know I haven't read it yet. So I take a bookmark with a tassel. I don't know what it is about tassels. They make me so happy. So bookmarks with tassels. Every morning, so I haven't even started this book, I move the bookmark 10 pages. So this book starts on page number... What is this? What is these Roman numerals? Why? Why? Okay, so that's where the book starts. So we're going to count 10 pages. So I have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So when I get to 10 pages in, I put the bookmark there. I flip back to where I need to start, and I put my tassel. And then I just have to read from tassel to bookmark. And then I read to the bookmark, and I can stop and be done for the day, or I can keep going if I want to. And then each morning I move the bookmark 10 pages and then work the tassel back. So sometimes I read in, 2-minute chunks. Sometimes maybe I have time to actually sit down for 10 minutes and read, whatever it is. So I will get done my 10 pages. Even if that means I read a paragraph every time I go to the bathroom, whatever it is, I get my 10 pages in. And this book is 209 pages. So 209 divided by 10, 21 days I can have this book read. That's 3 weeks. So while maybe 3 weeks to read a book seems like a long time, it's a lot more than waiting for time to read it and then never reading it, because that's more what I would do in the past. So because of this 10 pages a day system, I am going through so many books. And let me show you another great way to go through books. Audiobooks are great if you have the time or the energy or the drive or the mental staying capacity. Sometimes I do find that when I'm listening to a book, I'm too focused on other stuff, and then I have to keep rewinding it, so it may or may not be quicker, but we're all different. There is a great app. This app is called Overdrive. If you download, oh, wrong one. If you download this little icon right here, it's called Overdrive. Look for the Overdrive app. This app syncs to your local library. You can actually put in your library card. So Brevard County Library, right there. and it comes up. You can search tons and tons of books. They have children's books, and they have anything that your local library has an e-copy, a digital copy, or an audio copy of, can be found in this thing right here online. You can hold them, you can request them, you can download them and read them, you can download them and listen to them, whatever is available. They don't have everything, but there's a lot there. So I use that for when I want to read on my tablet, because I love to have books, but I don't always want to spend tons and tons of money on something, especially if it's not one that necessarily I'm going to reread. So I always check Overdrive first. And so here's what I do. I listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of leadership stuff, a lot of growth stuff, a lot of spiritual growth stuff, whatever it is. Or just great fiction. And I can tell you my favorite fiction book. Oh my gosh, there's a series by Francine Rivers. Is it Voice of the Lion? Oh my gosh, there's a trilogy, Voice of the Dawn. It's incredible, and I will put a link in the comments to that as well. My favorite fiction I've ever read, and I read it about 12 years ago, and it's incredible. So if you're looking for summer reads, highly recommend it. So if you hear of a book and you think, oh, I want to try that book, but your mind's overloaded with all these books you want to read and you can't keep them all straight, here's what I do. First, I go to Overdrive, type it in, see if it's there. If it is, I put it on my little wish list so I have it saved. I also have created in Amazon a wish list. You can create wish list. I titled this one Books. It's just a private list. Every time I hear of a book I want to read, I didn't find it there, I type it into Amazon, and then I just add it to my wish list. And then when I'm ready for a new book, I can go there and see the books I've been hearing. So immediately while I'm listening to podcasts or I'm standing with someone and they tell me about a book, I type it in, save it to my wish list, and then I always know where to go to see all those books that I wanted to remember to read someday. So I hope that helps. See if there's anything else. I guess that's all for now. Go out there, get a cute bookmark with a tassel, and start reading. There's so much freedom in that because you will actually start finishing books, and it feels so good. And you can do that digitally. You can put a bookmark 10 pages back and then go back. It's totally possible. So make this happen. That slight edge, 10 pages a day, and you will be reading more than you have read in years, no matter what your life stage. I guarantee it. So give it a try. Hope that gives you some inspiration. Enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye. Oh, and happy Mother's Day. Bye.